we are. So maybe a little unfamiliar things that we're going to do, but we're going to have Shabbat. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to ask Cindy and Michael to come forward and light our Shabbat candles.
We would love to. Thank you.
All right here. Let me get out of here.
No problem. No problem. We're all in this.
On the left.
Michael's gonna light because I can't light.
Okay. Should I light now?
Not here this.
Yep.
Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos, everyone. And as we are signing this, thank you, Cindy and Michael. And much as you brought this beautiful light to us for Shabbat, you hopefully will carry that light with you as you are betrothed people and soon to become official partners. And so God bless you all. I love to sing. So let's sing Shalom Aleichem. I don't know if it's in the sitter. It's on the sheets, but we can go ahead and sing. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bo'echem Shalom, Malachei L'Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sensational. Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Malachim HaKadosh Baruch. You all sounded very beautiful to me. Thank you so much. Well, we're starting to bring in the Shabbat. We've blessed our candles, we've sang to the angels, and now we turn, and let me make sure I'm on the right page, to 279. Like I said, this is going to be interesting tonight. And rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. And you might either be seated or stay standing, whatever your tradition is. But we turn now to the mission statement of the Jewish people, which we can find on page 284. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Rushen Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. And if you're standing, you may continue to sit, and you may sit now, And we did actually say, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. If we're going to put in a little English there. This is a choose your own adventure now, because normally we would do the Via Hafta after this. In your books, do you have the Debbie Friedman song, And Thou Shalt Love the Lord?
It's in here.
Is it in there?
Yeah.
And I know you all know it, so I will, please lead me with this, but we'll start.
I gotta come with it.
Find where it is. What page is it? Do you know, Laura?
I don't know.
Page 4
Page 4.
says, And thou shalt love the Lord.
Perfect. No.
Maybe it's in that one.
Page 4.
Oh, you know what? We have different
In that
versions.
one.
We have different versions.
Okay, you got it? Yep. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently to thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou risest up, and where thou liest down, and where thou liest down. And thou shalt write them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto thy God, unto thy God, unto thy God. Thank you, Laura. You really said, you made it so beautiful. Thank you. We're doing pretty good so far. Good, good. I'm glad you're feeling it. I'm feeling it. And we have an opportunity on page 290. Hopefully, I have one little rousing one I can do for a Micha Mocha in the middle of the page. So it's a campy one. So let's see. I'm sure you guys will pick it up. So I just need the first note. It might be in there 290. So
It's in the middle.
Lauren, start one for me. Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Ma'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Medar B'Kodesh, Nora, Tehilot, Oseh, Nora, Tehilot, Oseh, Nice. Ma'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedarba Kodesh
No.
Tehillah. Oh, say flood. No Tehillah. Oh, say Bele. Good. It's an interesting rhythm there. Very, very interesting. You know what? On page 293, if we do slowly, this is actually one of my favoriteest poems. And as a matter of fact, we're going to read the second one on 293 in the English together. When I was running a school up in Milwaukee, at Congregation Shalom, we had a version of this that said, you know, having friends, when you have friends, you're rich in the world and you always have a companion. And that's what this is about. Of course, it's talking about God as our friend, but God works through us. So when we are friends with each other and spread that love and light, you know, the world is just a better place and God needs that help. So together in the English, Creator of peace, compassionate God, guide us to a covenant of peace with all of your creatures, birds and beasts, as well as all humanity, reflecting your image of compassion and peace. Give us strength to help sustain your promised covenant, abolishing blind strife and bloody warfare, so that they will no longer devastate the earth, so that discord will no longer tear us asunder. Then all that is savage and brutal will vanish, and we shall fear evil no more. Guard our coming and our going, now towards waking, now towards sleep, always within your tranquil shelter. Beloved are you, sovereign of peace, whose embrace encompasses Jerusalem, the people Israel, and all humanity. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And an opportunity to sing on page 294, and I might actually be able to lead this one in the Hebrew at the top, Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'doratam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'doratam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'doratam berit olam. Ki sheshet hayamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'doratam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'doratam berit olam. We turn now for a moment, our thoughts and our hearts to the people in our community who are in need of healing, who need a healing prayer. I think we need a Misha Bera, and I'm looking, Shar says it's in here on 1-4. You've got it in your little 7.
Page 5 and 11.
There we go.
I'm just looking for one for healing, so I don't have one here. No, what we're gonna do, so, and I, I had my little Misha Barak in my pocket all day at the hospital because I was visiting patients for Shabbat, and it's out in my backpack in the car. So, first, let's call the names of the people that we want to keep in our hearts. And I can actually, I think, sing the Misha Barak, Debbie Friedman, which I think everybody knows.
Can I say another name?
Oh, I'll ask for other names too. So what we're doing for anybody who might not be familiar is we take an opportunity while we are gathered as a community to wish people in our community a healing, a refuat haguf, a healing of body, or a refuat hanefesh, a healing of spirit. So we've been asked for this Shabbat to keep in mind Albert Stone, Rita Carroll, David Bohm, Sue Bohm, Bill Shergin, Michelle Sherrick, Lisa Rosen, Avia Bat Itzila, Belle Gavzer, Cliff and Judy Brooks, Jillian Kelly, Barbara Weiner, Mark Weiner, Mark Schwartz, Linda Walters, Beverly Siegel, Kevin Werner, Ellen Zemmel, Myron Berger, Beth Berger, Toby Landesman, Bern Rabin, Karen Hamilton, Sherry Joshu, Iris Kurbis Cantor, Beverly Siegel, Chris Malwitz, Jerry Pador, Howard Rogers, Deborah Rogers, and if there are other people who to be mentioned or names that I mispronounced,
My sister, Susan Warnick.
may she have a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Marshall Myler.
A speedy recovery. We wish them all a speedy recovery quickly. I think my English translation of what I use in the hospital says, we want you to enliven them right now, speedily and without delay. So listen to that, please. We are all asking for that, and we will sing a Misha Barach. Misha Barach. Avotenu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May those in need of healing, bless those in need of healing with a fruah shlema, a healing of body, a healing of spirit, and let us say amen. Maybe I didn't remember it as well as I thought, but I think we got the message out. Again, I spent the day praying for people, so I appreciate an opportunity to do it some more, because I always promise my patients that every time I pray after I meet them, they always get that good energy too. So thank you for helping my patients today. We have on the bottom of 294, we'll just chant the Chatzi Kaddish, And then we will turn to page 296 for the Amidah. So, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chal hayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayetecho beit Yisrael, bahagala, Uvizman kahariv v'yimaru amen. Yeheshmei Rabba mevorach le'olam me'el maya yidbarach v'yishtabach v'yidpor v'yitromam v'yidnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalah shmei dekudishabrihu le'elal min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'yimaru amen. And we turn to page 296 and rise if you are able to, we'll chant the page 296 together. Adonai sefatatita ufia gita hilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Ha'akol V'Zocher Hasei Avot V'Yimot U'Mevi Gula L'Ifnei B'neihem L'Ma'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Madei Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayev Meitim Atah Rav Lehoshia Nashiv Haruach U'Morir Hagashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayev Meitim Berachamim Rabim Somech Novlim Verofeh Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Avar Micha Mocha Va'al Gevurot Umidom Elas Melech Mevidu Mechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah l'chayot meitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei ha-meitim Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. And we are going to turn to page 290. That's 296, but I don't know. 298. There we are. For Retzei, we can sing it, but I'm not sure I know. Do you want to start? Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael. Let's see. Retzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatan Tikabel utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael I can do. Amecha. And yeah, I think that's the Jankowski. That's a little hard for me. But let's, since we're asking God to accept our prayer, I feel let's just go on 299. There's some English where it says stop at the top, accept the prayer. Let's do that so we can make sure God understood us. Accept the prayer together with me. Accept the prayer of your people Israel as lovingly as it is offered. Restore worship to your sanctuary. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable to you. May we witness your merciful return to Zion. Praised are you, Lord, who restores God's presence to Zion. And the Khatima for that is Baruch Atah Adonai HaMachazir Shechinato Litzion. One of my favorite verses. And on page 300, again, I like to have the opportunity sometimes to say it in a language that we all know. So at the top of 301, let's read that together, and then at the bottom, and then we'll do the blessing. We proclaim that you are the Lord our God and God of our ancestors throughout all time. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation in every generation. We thank you and praise you morning, noon, and night for your miracles which daily attend us and for your wondrous kindnesses. Our lives are in your hand. Our souls are in your charge. You are good with everlasting mercy. You are compassionate with enduring loving kindness. We have always placed our hope in you. May every living creature thank you and praise you faithfully, our deliverance and our help. Praised are you, beneficent Lord, to whom all praise is due. Amen. And it's here, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hatov Shemcha Ucha Na'el Lechodot. And we have now talked to God. We have asked for healing. We have asked for God to remember us through our ancestors. And now we're going to take an opportunity to hear God's word in our Torah. So there is an opportunity to sing a song right here, but it's not my song. So let there be peace. Can you lead us in that, Laura? Be peace, and let it begin with me. All our needs. Let there be sun, and let it be let there be sun. When we see to you know what? This was one of the most beautiful things I have seen. And thank you. I don't know if you could appreciate the moment of hearing somebody who communicates with their hands. That's what their life is, to sing so beautifully. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right. So Torah service. Laura, do you and your hubby want to to do Torah blessings.
Sure.
And I'm a little rusty with this arc here, so I probably could use the help of somebody with good hands. So we're going to turn, and I made sure that I had the right page. 394 is the Torah service.
Or anything?
You know what, maybe when we're ready to, actually, you know what I was thinking? Because there is not so many of us. You know what I'd love to do? It might be a little, but I'd love to put the Torah here and have us all read it, have you up here while I'm reading it.
Beautiful.
There has to be a good opportunity of a little bit of a smaller group, and I thought that might be fun. So, yes, we're on 394, and I'm going to ask you to rise. And it's just, and I'll have you guys open the ark. We're good for now.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is. Oops. Ken did it for me before, so this is my solo effort. Okay. And you're gonna carry the Torah? Can you carry it? Or
I can try. Yeah.
sure, or do you want to? Okay, he said give it to him. So
No, he said no.
He said,
oh, you won't. Okay, then you.
I'll put it. You know what?
Would you like to come too?
Let's go to the whole community.
Come on, it's the Torah, and we're gonna celebrate
That's
it.
right, we're gonna pray.
She undresses off.
Down.
Okay. Come on with us. Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm gonna let you, well, we're gonna pray first. Hein kamocha b'Elohim Adonai, ve'en k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut, olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai. Adonai, Adonai, Yevarech, Hativa Virzona, El Sio, Tinel, Yerushalayim, Tinel, Yerushalayim, Levad Bavatanu, Ram the Nisa, Adon, me. All right, Mike, I'm going to give this to you. Stay facing the ark. Facing the ark. Oops. That's good. Stay that way for now. In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice. It is precious to us and we hold it dear. And now let's turn. We'll turn. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai and we maybe will skip the procession since it's just us here. But let's undress her. So you want to help Cindy? Maybe you want to. Here, I'll get this. You can get her breastplate here.
Okay. Go for it.
There you go.
Here, right?
That right. I'm going to take the yacht. And I even have a page and everything. Oh, that happened. We'll fix it.
We'll fix it. No, it's all good.
Yeah. You know what, those things, honestly,
It's
I
no
already
big
took,
deal.
I took some of it off already
It's
because
okay.
it's always.
Oh, well, just.
All right, you bring her over here
No big deal.
and we're gonna put her,
Face down or turn?
oh, no, here, let me take her,
You got it. You got it.
her
Working
dress
together.
off
I love this.
and then back down. So, here.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. This part I can do in my sleep.
Of course.
Just close the doors.
Close the door. Beautiful.
Yeah. Perfect. And there's some blessings here. We'll share them. And blessings here. And like I said, I'm going to read and translate as I go along. And here is the yacht. And we're going to have a little drash too. And if you feel free to sit down too, you don't have to stay standing for this, but just for the blessing. Let's do this. Then you can sit down. Let me show you where I'm going to be reading from. Yeah, so we're going to be, all right. So I'm reading from right there. Okay. He's going to do, okay.
Baruch Hu Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim ve'nata lanu es Torato Baruch atah Adonai notenu Torah.
I think I had it down here. Well, I guess you're going to have to trust me. You don't have Chumashes with you. So, yeah, but it was like 286 in the. So, and if you want to sit, feel free now too. We are in the last parsha of Sefer Bereshit of the book of Genesis. So, my drash will talk about that a little bit, but just to place us where we are, this parsha is entitled Vayechi, and it's actually going to be the first word I read, and it means, and he lived.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, be comfy.
Okay.
So, but that's anybody who wants to come and watch while I do this, that feel free to. You can see if I'm doing it right. Okay. Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim Sheva Esrei Shana. And Jacob lived in Egypt in the narrow place for 17 years. Vayehi Yamei Yaakov Shnei Chayav Sheva Shanim V'Arba'im U'Ma'at Shana. And it was that the days of Jacob's years, the years of his life, they were 7 years and 40 and 100 years. In other words, Jacob was 147. It's interesting. The Torah uses that as a very particular way to give ages. And it is an interesting thing because it perhaps makes us think about Jacob as a 7-year-old, and again as a 40-year-old, and again as a 100-year-old man. Vayikravu Yamei Yisrael Lemut. And the days that were approaching his death, the days were approaching that he was going to die. Vayikra livno leYosef. Vayomer lo im na metzati chen be'enecha sim na yadecha tachat yerechi. And so, knowing that his death was approaching, Jacob, he called, his time was coming short, and he summoned his son Joseph to him. And he said to him, if I have found favor in your eyes, place, please, your hand underneath my thigh. Ve'asiti imadi chesed ve'emet al na tik bareni b'mitrayim. And please, you have to do for me truthfully, honestly, and with mercy, and don't bury me in Egypt. Vishatafti im avotai. And he says, I am going to be joining the sleep of my fathers. Un sa'atini mi Mitzrayim. And you have to get me up out of Egypt. Ukbartani, bik vu rotam. And you must bury me in their kevers, in their tombs. So they're in Egypt, all living, and he is exacting this Jacob is exacting this promise. Vayomer anochi e'eseh. And he said, that is Joseph replied to him and said, I will do kidavarachacha, just as you have said. Vayomer hi shiva'a li, veyi shava lo. And Jacob said, swear it to me, and he swore it to him. Vayishtachu Israel al rosh hamita. And then Israel, Jacob, prostrated himself upon the head of his bed. And the reading after Torah. Let's see. You got the.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah shemes mipnei Olav nata b'chulkeinu. Baruch atah Adonai notena Torah.
Amen. All right. We're not going to do a hagbah, so to say, because it's hard, but shall I hand it to Michael and you'll dress? Let me just put her belt back on. Her girdle. She needs her girdle. Otherwise, her pants will fall down. That's right.
I love this.
It is, isn't it? And it's good. It's most.
Keeps it together.
All right. So you sit, Michael, and I'll give this to you.
Just do after him.
Okay. Have a
No
seat.
problem. Go for it.
All right. And here, you put this on first.
Oh, yeah. The dress up there.
Here you go.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, it's gonna.
See, this is really community in action.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm gonna try to do it. If we need
Yeah.
help, I'll ask you.
You don't mind going.
You all right there? Okay, it's gotta go through.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It's tricky, it's tricky. It's okay. It'll happen.
I had a hard time with it.
I do too. Wait a minute. That one's in. Yeah, this one's gotta get in. It's to be dressed up in. For Shabbos. Perfect.
At least thank God it's not holiday.
It doesn't matter. None of us.
And here you go.
We're all here together.
Let's put.
Oh, and she needs this.
Her,
Right.
Change connect.
Like when you're by business.
yes, there you go,
It's a
right
miracle.
there.
Perfect.
And what we're gonna do we have a holder for her? I mean, besides Michael?
Holder to sit.
Yeah, to sit the Torah down in?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Okay, then you know what? We're gonna put it back now and then I'll do my sermon. So let me find my page.
Whatever works.
I think we have to go to,
Where's the book?
Might bring it back.
yeah, a 422.
She'll tell you.
Yes, we'll open up. I just wanted to, I don't know all these. It's fine, so.
Another man here.
No?
Do you want to help?
No, we're good.
Wait. I got it under this. They don't tell you in seminary that you have to, yeah. All right, well, let me just try to find my Etz Chaim. Here it goes. Here it is, okay. Well, all here, okay. Etz Chaim.
What is your reading? Whenever the ark was set down, Moses would say, Lord, may you dwell among the myriad families of the people of Israel. Return, O Lord, to your sanctuary, you and your glorious ark. Let your Kohanim be clothed in triumph. Let your faithful sing for joy. For the sake of David, your servant, do not reject your anointed. Precious teaching do I give you. Never forsake my Torah. It is a tree of life for those who grasp it, and all who uphold it are blessed. Its ways are pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Help us from you, and we shall return, renew our lives as in days of old.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. What a wonderful Torah reading.
That's your
So
thought.
many folks.
Right,
It's a blessing.
right.
I love reading Torah with lots of people around. All right, you guys have been working hard. Take a break.
Thank you.
You can even take a little snooze because the rabbi's going to talk now. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We have to do one more thing, and we should have done it when the Torah is out,
It's okay.
but let's stand because we just finished a book of Torah, and we say, Hazak,
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 Venit,
Benit,
Hazek.
Hazek.
Strong, strong, be strengthened. And I'm sorry, we should have done that while the Torah was out, but we said it and you'll hear it a bit more. So now you're really, I mean it, you're done working.
It's okay. Thank you.
So particularly the book of Genesis, I read it very much like a novel every year. And I just want to make sure I have all these. And we are in the final book of the final parsha of Genesis. And so just as a reminder, this book started with creation. And now we've lived through a flood, towers of Babel. We're up to the 4th generation of Hebrews who have now found themselves in Egypt, and that was in truth a godsend. And at the moment, well, let me just put you there and you'll hear the rest of it in the drash. As I said, I'm really happy to be with you this Shabbat. At this moment in our Torah cycle, we are on the crux of a major transition in the life of our ancestors and our narrative. Vayechi is the last parsha of Sefer Bereshit. And at the end of this parsha, Jacob has died, as does Joseph. And our origin family, all 70 of them, dwell not in the land promised, but in Mitzrayim, the narrow place, also known as Egypt. At the end of this chapter, our family is riding high on the hog, so to speak. Joseph is the second most powerful man in Egypt, and the family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the recipients of all that kavod, that honor. Jacob requests that all of his sons assemble, and he names them in this parsha as tribes and blesses them sometimes, because Jacob also hints during this blessing as what is to come, an end of days. And while Jacob does not elaborate, there is a foreboding in that lingers. Next week, which is a shameless plug that you should keep coming, as we start Shmot, the book of Exodus, we will see what a difference 400 years makes. Tonight, however, we can bask in the good fortune that the Israelites enjoyed. A good fortune that was a direct result of Joseph and the way he conducted his life. And I find myself wondering, as I do all of the time, why, when we list our patriarchs, why Joseph isn't one of them. There are many traditional reasons for this. The rabbis have been around for a long time. When the brothers go down to Egypt because of the famine, they don't recognize Joseph because he has adapted his style and dress to that of the Egyptians. Joseph assimilated, so according to the tradition, he could not be a patriarch. The rabbis were concerned because he fit in too well with the other ones. Another possible reason, Joseph is actually the fourth generation. Our identifying our ancestors only go to 3 generations. I have an interesting notion on that. But our patriarchs and matriarchs that we sort of acknowledged in the Amidah today were all to the 3rd generation. So maybe that's the exclusion. They wanted some sort of harmony, and certainly we don't ever know much about Joseph's wife. But I'd like to suggest that Joseph's exclusion from being named as an ancestor is actually more about the notion that Joseph's great contribution to our tradition is this. He took much of the dysfunction of our ancient roots and refigured that negative energy into more positive outcomes. Joseph took his family history seriously and worked to evolve the family relationships into healthier ones. What do I mean? If we think about Abraham, the first Jew, the person God made a covenant with on our behalf right now, we see a man who is magnificent in public, but not so much with his family. Abraham argues on behalf of wicked Sodom. God wants to destroy them, and Abraham bargains with God about trying to find somebody worth saving there. Pretty chutzpahdik to have an argument with God. When he was recovering from his circumcision, Abraham shows radical hospitality to strangers without any consideration for his personal safety. In the ancient world, strangers coming to your tent didn't necessarily mean a good thing. Out in the world, Abraham is a mensch. Not so much with his own family, though. Abraham, in essence, gave his own wife to Pharaoh in order to escape possible death, and ultimately increased his own personal fortune when God sent an early plague on that Pharaoh. Abraham willingly sent Hagar and Ishmael, his first son, out to die in the wilderness because Sarah was jealous, and later Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son Isaac too. As a family man, Abraham was no prize winner. Isaac himself was fairly ineffective, but not doing anything can also be a problem. The rivalry between his twins was evident. It could not have been a secret that Jacob manipulated his older brother Esau into giving away his birthright for a pot of lentils. And of course, Rebekah used this history to connive the blessing of the firstborn for Jacob too. An action so horrible and done in such a terrible way that Jacob had to leave his home for fear of his life. Now, Jacob received some payback for his cruelty to his brother Esau when, while in exile from his own homeland, Jacob was promised the hand of his beloved Rachel, only to be tricked by Laban, the father, into marrying Rachel's sister Leah, and additionally giving him 7 more years of labor. As a consequence, Jacob is stuck there for 14 years. One would think, after 2 different disguise plots caused so much ruin, that Jacob would be enlightened by his own disappointments and suffering and learn from those things. But no, Jacob continues the family tradition of dysfunction by showing his extreme favoritism to his son with Rachel, Joseph. It is absolutely because Jacob is blatant at showing his favoritism towards Joseph that his brothers loathe him. We meet Joseph when he is telling his family about his dreams that have Joseph as the center of attention with a family bowing down to him, dreams that infuriate those brothers. Yet Jacob seems oblivious to the dangerous dynamic he has fostered. And the situation comes to a very ugly intersection when Jacob sends Joseph out to check up on those brothers. The brothers see Joseph approach and initially just decide to kill him. But ultimately, they decide to sell him to a nomadic tribe of Ishmaelites. They never see the irony that they cast off their brother the way Abraham cast off Ishmael. The brothers think they can return home, tell Jacob that wild beasts ate Joseph, and everyone will live happily ever after that. The text then goes on to recount the adventures of Joseph in Egypt, a seduction, an imprisonment, an opportunity to utilize dream interpretation, which eventually leads Joseph to saving Egypt from famine along with the rest of the region and becoming the right-hand man of Pharaoh. Joseph has traversed the journey from snotty teenager to incredible political power. And it is how and when he wielded that power that is the source of my thought. The first time the brothers are reunited with Joseph, coming down to Egypt in search of food, they did not recognize him, but Joseph knew them and planned. When they returned again because of Joseph's plan, the second time, Joseph revealed himself to his brothers who were then rightly terrified because they had wanted to kill Joseph, because they, in essence, did take his life from him. But Joseph understood what happened very differently as he states himself at the reveal. Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come closer to me." And they drew closer. And he said, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. But now, do not be sad and let it not trouble you that you sold me here, for it was to preserve life that God sent me before you. For already 2 years of famine have passed in the midst of the land, and there will be more for another 5 years. There will be neither plowing or harvest. And God sent me before you to make for you a remnant in the land and to preserve it for you for a great deliverance." More foreshadowing. "And now you did not send me here, but God, and he made me a father to Pharaoh, a lord over all of Pharaoh's household, and a ruler over the entire land of Egypt." Joseph had the power to do anything to his brothers, and he chose to forgive them. He chose to love them, to be grateful for the circumstances that led him to Egypt, because Joseph saw it all as a divine plan. At this point in time, it saved the Israelites. Next week, we will learn it wasn't permanent, but that was not on Joseph. This moment in Torah, as we say goodbye to our founding family and ancestors and what they began, this moment is an opportunity to see the behavior that got our small family to that moment. And I think it is fair to say the journey to this point was pretty messy, chaotic, and not particularly healthy. Yet this chapter, this place, in my opinion, reassures us that it is never too late to get it right. It is never too late to put down the bad feelings. It is never too late to stop ruminating on the hurts, the jabs, the misery that we inflict on each other. Rather, we can be like our non-patriarch, Joseph. We can grow even when it is painful, and we can use that growth to not only make our situation better, but to make it better for everyone. I would like to think that tradition does not recognize Joseph as a founding father because Joseph was a more fully realized human than the other ancestors. It is the messiness, the chaos of life, which gets our attention, because in those situations, sadly, we seem to learn more from our mistakes. Joseph emerges from the generational morass as a whole, intact person, as someone who does not let obstacles, problems, feelings interfere in the work of evolving and becoming a people. For this Shabbat, and maybe for the coming year, I aspire to be more like Joseph, to not lose myself in the minutia, the pettiness, the chaos. Rather, I hope to be able to see the big picture, to understand that what might seem like an insurmountable obstacle or unbearable tension is really an opportunity to bring wholeness and repair. May we all say, Hazak, Hazak, V'nit Hazek. Be strong, and may we be strengthened on this Shabbat and every other one. Shabbat Shalom. All right. Well, I should have kept the Torah out so we could have done Elena with the ark, but I'll open up the ark for it anyhow. So first we're going to do Elena and then Laura will have announcements. So let's turn to 5:10.
Can I do something?
Sure.
Is it okay? I have a mazel tov.
Pardon me?
There's a mazel tov, and whenever you put it,
Absolutely. Oh,
there's a mazel tov, and there's also, I'm a great aunt.
you're a great aunt.
Yeah.
So maybe for announcements, let's do like a good and welfare during, that would be wonderful. I'm never going to say no to good news ever. Okay, page 510. I'm going to open the ark. Let's rise. Aleinu v'shameach ladon hakol lateis celebration. Shalom Sunday Shalom they go there, Merovi, who Elohim knew waiting up, and nothing new us but God to the toll from the Dantayom, the Dantayom, the Hashivota, Elevavaha, Ki Yadonah, Elohim, Bashamari, Ma'a, the Aharetz, me time the fun, ain't no then Bar Bahaya Adonai, the Melech Alcohol, Haaretz, Bayom Ha. You may be seated, and Laura, come on up. And we'll take a moment then for good and welfare.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
Thank you for coming this evening and thank you for watching us on YouTube and on Zoom. And Rabbi Marcy, that was just great. Thank you. Your sermons are spectacular.
Well,
Thank you very
I love
much.
being with you all, and I'm so happy
Well,
to be here.
We're very appreciative. And Ann Stewart, thank you very much for your beautiful singing
Yes.
and interpreting.
You have a gorgeous voice.
Yeah. Okay. January 13th, which is next Friday, our service will be on Zoom. The 14th, at 6 p.m., we have our dinner. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, call the office immediately because we'll try to squeeze you in. And then we have a special concert by Rabbi Shar and the band, and that will start at 7:30 and it's free. So it's quite an event. And she's going to work in a little bit of a Havdalah service too. On the 20th is a Shabbat service here. That's a Friday. And my husband Mark and I will be celebrating with you our 50th wedding anniversary. Yeah, of course, we got married when we were like 10 years old, of course. And we'll have an oneg on steroids, so it should be very good. So please come. And then on the 28th, which is the last Saturday of the month at 10:30 a.m., we have our Kabbalah service. So good Shabbos, everybody, and stay well. Amen.
Oh, yeah. So how about some good and welfare?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how that works.
Great
What-
aunt.
oh,
The baby's name is
Cindy-
Charlie Everett.
Is it great aunt? And do you want to come up and make an announcement? Sure.
Exciting. He's named after my sister, my oldest sister.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Hi,
Mazel
everybody. Shalom. Good Shabbos. I'm my niece, my great niece had a baby. So I'm a great aunt, and the aunt is named after I'm the aunt that's named after my Aunt Arlene. So the baby's name is Arlie Everett.
Oh,
Okay, and
and
she should be blessed.
beautiful.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Sister.
Oh,
I like to hug it, Joel.
yes, me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Mazel tov. Anything else? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So the bookend to new life is actually memory. And as the end of our service, we have an opportunity to remember and to say Kaddish, a prayer that is unique to the Jewish people. I'm going to study this book next time. So we have been asked, we have our list of people that we are holding for Kaddish for recent deaths are Joyce Russo, Chaya Sura Ben Meyer, Neil Rothman, Lita Zemmel, Louise Unell, Andrea Schaefer, Danny Puccini, Robert Kleben, Rabbi Dr. Douglas Goldhammer, Ron Rabin, Margaret Coe, Sandy Heineck, and David Zweiben. I should know. And our yard sites, the people that we're remembering tonight are Annette Kutzen, Erwin Tuckman, Max Kerman, Helen Berman, Benjamin Soto, Robert Young, Adelaide Fretzen, Albert Levin, Seymour Marcus, and Kalman Kugel. If there are any other names or names that should be pronounced differently, Mourner's Kaddish Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 512. I invite you to rise if that is your custom and join me. Yitgdal v'yikdash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach irutei v'amlik malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei tekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'nomar amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam olmeo maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalau shemei dekudisha brihu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'alma v'yimaru amen. Yehei shlam Rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'ol kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Osei shalom bimroma. Hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'ol kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. May the source of peace send peace to those who mourn, comfort those who are grieving, As we say, God bless you all, and we turn to a closing song. How about an Osei Shalom? We didn't sing that yet. Pick one.
Social,
How about,
the light one, the Debbie thing, no.
how about Osei Shalom Bimrama? Who say Shalom Aleinu? Ve'al kol Yisrael. Imru, Imru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Imru, Amen. May you all go forth and have a wonderful Shabbat, as beautiful and bright as you all have been tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
Tell them there's free food.
And there's food. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. I really, I